data from the league. And one of the things they found was mistaken. Can you do the honors?
Sure. Women CEOs and executives were more popular than the average woman, even after controlling for age, education, and race. The same trend holds for men. Male CEOs and founders were hearted 4.5% more than the male average and were 20% more likely to message first.
So from the league, and these are guys who are spending some good dough to be in it. They found that, the opposite to be true, what we hear in these spaces, that women who were of high, executive roles were chosen more than women who were average. I wonder why that is. Do you guys know?
I think it has to do with what we've been talking about compatibility. I really do. I think that that's where it boils down to. I think it was Ray Alexander that had that thing that it's not just about the money; it's the other areas in which that the match is. So I would assume that both of them have a lot of similarities being in those roles. That's just my
Well,
opinion.
there are probably certain people, certain caliber of people who are in the league to begin with, right? You have to look at your audience. So the people who are in this pool are probably the more elite people who can afford to pay the $1,000 a week, a month, or whatever it is. So you've first got that situation. And then, as we've been talking about, it's the attraction. What are we attracted to? You're attracted to the person who has that commanding presence. They also said the same thing held true for men, right? You're talking about the commanding presence, certain characteristics and traits of these men or of these women. And on all of these dating sites, first you put out the pictures that you want people to see. Let's just, so it is the perspective or the what people put off and what you're attracted to. And obviously these people are probably putting off that some aura, leadership, commanding presence, attractive, maybe physically, and even if not physically, let's just be honest, you don't have to be physical. Well, yeah. Oh, money talks. That's always, you're right. But even outside of the physical, dress nice. How are you dressed? That's what's one. How are you dressed? The haircut, the hairstyle. How do you look? Right? It's that what is attracting me to you? What did Trigger Mike say? I think maybe you look like money, you act like money. You didn't say all that, but yeah.
Anybody else want to?
So interesting.
The female seat. So yeah, I don't know why women tend to think that men are intimidated by. Like I met my wife while she was doing her master's degree. I don't think I had started my master's yet.
But we're not talking about you, Trigger Mike. We
No,
know that you are.
No, I'm just saying that we're not intimidated by women doing it. It's actually we can look at it as somebody we respect more, right? We respect the process. We're
You're
like,
sure of yourself, though.
What she got going on? Yes, some dudes can take it into a fetish type of thing, but no, most men can respect it. The issue is that if you have to be aware that, all right, this is one of these ladies that's about to shift the power dynamic. There's nothing sexier than a woman of high status that is still feminine, that still understands that she shouldn't raise her voice at men. Like that's actually more sexy, right? So, yeah, I think it's definitely understandable. It's par for the course, really. Of course, they get more likes and looks at like, oh, she did what for herself? Oh, this lady can facilitate a dream. What else can she do? Right? It makes you more amazing. And that's actually something I put in my subject box to make a short about. If your woman doesn't amaze you, don't get with her. If you want to know why men stay with women above other women and don't cheat and do all these type of things, it's because their woman is more amazing than every other woman that they met, that they would have chose from. So.
Anybody else want to say? Go ahead.
I'm just curious more about the what is the marriage stat of the league? Like, what are the marriage statistics of the league show?
Well,
I mean, I don't know. I'm curious.
It's low-key a swinger club.
Be very clear.
Oh, okay.
The league let's be very clear. The league, I've been on the league. It's not many of us on there. Let's just be very clear. It's a few, but not a lot of us. And so that's one thing to take in consideration. If we take also in consideration the study that I said that I saw on Pew, which I would drop both of those after the shows because I like in the comments. It seems to be that maybe these guys, it may be a race thing. You know, you understand what I'm saying? That could be the reason. It may be a race thing.
See, my whole thing is about people finding the right person for marriage. If you're not pushing towards marriage, the rest of the conversation is ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
It really is, which is why I typically message towards men, hey, don't waste time wasting time. If she's not for you, keep it moving. And don't break her. Like we will hang around just to bust and break a female, like get that nut. And in the process of getting that nut, whatever we had to do to get that nut, we've broken a female. And we need to get away from this. We need to get out of that mindset, this over sexualized mindset. And just like the purpose of is to have kids, find the mate, keep it moving. Everything else is just ridiculous to me. It really is.
Well, we're assuming that these people aren't, like I said, I think that we're thinking about a Bumble or a Tinder. I hope nobody is spending that much money just to play around with, these are, if you see the lineup, these are like guys, like maybe they don't get out much or because they're working. Like these are very professional,
that saves some time.
Yeah, so these are not just guys who have time on their hands to just be around here out in the street.
Yes, they say because they don't have the time. Something that's interesting too, that I saw was, and I've been seeing people say in the chat, which I agree with, that it's not so much the education, it's more so like how the women are acting. And I think it does make sense, and it doesn't make sense that men, harp on women for that have their degrees. You do see that a lot in this space because your wife is going to be raising the kids, you know what I mean? Like more, even if she is working. So it's like, you kind of don't want a dummy, to be, I mean, that's inherent in us anyway. Or innate in us rather, but yeah.
And that dummy, if people don't understand that educational level, that trickles. So if she's a little, your kids be a little.
My wife reads to our kids every night. She's doing that right now. They got phonics books, Amelia, Bedelia. Oh, that stuff mattered to me. Yeah, like that stuff mattered to me. And damn, there was another point I was gonna make, but y'all go ahead.
Sorry.
Do you think that has a lot to do with shared values? Maybe it doesn't work out because that's a big one. It's almost like religion. How much value you put in education. If it doesn't match your mate's value in education, then that may be a problem. Because there was one conversation we had. We talked about Black doctors, and I got so much pushback from men. And I thought they were like, you can't tell. Basically, let's be realistic. And I thought, I would never marry a man who one comes into my household thinking it's impossible for somebody Black to be a doctor. Because you're going to try to bring that down on my kids. And how you going to tell my child he can't be a doctor? What?
That's ignorant.
That's a mentality. That is the craziest thing I've ever seen. If you would have seen this episode, I think Tan left because she was there that day. But there was a Sage was on that screen, and I was like, oh my God. And it was just coming at me like, you're not being realistic. And I was like, because I said we need to see more Black male doctors. It was like, you would have thought I'd said something crazy.
The men were saying that's not real.
You gotta understand the education level.
They were coming for me, Coach K.
I'm master prepared. Ask me if I think it's possible for both my kids to be doctors.
Okay, and that's the thing too that I see as a white person in this space, and it's something that does bug me. And I don't ever say it because it's just not my place. But it's like sometimes I see or even like when I was on Lapeef, Let's Talk with B Taylor and Pearl, and B Taylor brought up, is my husband white? And then she brought up the average salary, which I'm pretty sure Black men is not far behind white men, right? And
less than $9,000.
And I wanted to say, as I got to thinking about it, people talk about the history, and I think that's important. That's actually pretty damn good. You know what I mean? Like the fact that, like, it's obviously unfortunate, and I would never say, but I'm saying that it's like you're not giving Black men enough credit, but also too, like, why would you think that though? And I understand you can be realistic about the things that are going on, which are still, prevalent, whatever. But it's also like, I don't know why you would put that narrative on yourself or on other people, because they are going to consume that and they will believe it, and their actions are going to reflect that, So it's like, then they make sure that that's true, that they don't become a doctor. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just hate seeing that. But someone might say, "Oh, it's your white privilege, whatever." But I hate seeing it.
You're talking about the deficit mentality. They
yeah,
the deficit mentality.
Yeah.